All right, cheers. Yes, it is football season, so we have the Patriots stuff going on. All hail Tom Brady. And Kenny Chesney is the man. No Shoes Nation rules. And I love that Kenny has a connection to Gillette Stadium. That is the home of No Shoes Nation. So it is Sunday. Yeah, I did decide. Actually, posted some more recent episodes where I actually had guests, but then a lot has happened. A lot of good things has happened in the last, 4 to 6 weeks. I thought I should share, and also, this is gratuitous because I think Gwen subscribed to my channel, so she might actually get a notification when I post a new podcast. So I'm gonna talk smack about Gwen. You have become the cat lady. No, I'm kidding. I mean that in the best possible sense. I love what you're doing. But yes, definitely want to connect with you and Jason. No pressure. We will do it at Magnolia, someplace close, because I know Jason has been working his fucking ass off. And even though you're technically retired, Gwen, it sounds like you've been working a lot too. So don't forget to smell the roses or whatever amazing flowers you guys have in your backyard. Yeah, so geez, I can go down a litany of things. And I'll try not to overlap stuff I might have talked about. God, but I haven't done a solo podcast in quite a while. Got to reconnect, and this is just off the top of my head, no script, as usual. Is that a vein? Just the way the light's hitting my neck? That's creepy. Sorry. Anyway, actually, first let me start with the fact that I think I solved my my video latency issue. Because for the first 60 something episodes, I was just using the laptop, or I'm sorry, the camera on my laptop for the video part of it, and then I it was just so blurry. It wasn't high def. And it got to the point where if the laptop was too far away, you couldn't even tell who my guest was. So I got on Amazon, of course, and bought a webcam. I only paid $35-40 for it, which is probably the mistake. And the definition was amazing. It was like HD, but there was always a latency issue where the several times the audio would be, I think, like half a second or a second ahead of the video, so people would be speaking and you could tell that the audio, you wouldn't see their lips move until like a half a second later to match the words. And I troubleshooted as much as I could. I went into the OBS software and I tried to change some settings to account for the delay. And finally, just a couple of weeks ago, right before I recorded with Torin and Brendan, it was the night before, I panicked and called my tech support, which is Lowell Sosha, my friend from all the way back from when I was a kid, and stopped by his house. And I feel bad now because we spent like 40 minutes troubleshooting the out of this, using my camera, trying to figure out. He was doing his research, and then it occurred to him about 40 minutes in, well, let's do a test. And he grabbed a little webcam that he had, or he had bought for Nick, I can't remember, but let's just test it and see if it does the same thing. No, and it worked fine. So that was the end of the day. I just bought a cheap fucking webcam, and the latency was not good. And as soon as I used his, it worked fine. And it wasn't even that much more expensive. I think he said he paid $80 or $90 for this one, but it actually works, and the audio and the video match up. So the next night, Friday, I went down to Independence, Oregon, which is right next to Monmouth, and was finally able to get Brendan and Torin together. I had recorded with Torin last year almost the same time. I feel like it might have been August because it was hot in his house. And then we tried to connect with Brendan because if y'all haven't listened, Brendan and Torin used to have a podcast back around 16, 17, something like that. And I was a guest on it a couple of times at least. And actually Pam was a guest on it too. And then our me and Pam went down one time and did an episode with them, and then our friend Nick, the bartender from Puffs, me and him went down another time. Anyway, they had a podcast, so that's what kind of inspired me. And when I was starting mine and helping Kristen get hers going, I did reach out to Brendan just for some tech support. He was always awesome. But anyway, last summer, after I did the one with Torin, I was like, "Come on, Brendan, let's plan this." And you know, he's married to Mel. They have kids, and coming into the school year in September, it was just crazy. So we never got it booked. And then randomly, I had some time off the first week of October this year, and I just on like a Tuesday, I think I just texted Torin and I said, "Hey, I'm on vacation for like 9 days. Um, you want to do another podcast?" And he was like, "Yeah, let me check with Brendan." And Brendan was like, "Yeah, I can do that Friday." And when I got there in person, I told Brendan, I'm like, "I've been trying to book this for like a year, and when I finally just make it last minute, if I don't try to plan," he's like, "Yeah, I'm not a planner. So if you want to plan with me, it's not going to happen." But since I just spontaneously reached out like 2 or 3 days before, he was like, "Yeah, I can make that work." It was actually a really good conversation. We did like 2 hours and 18 minutes, I think, and just sitting on the couch at Torrin's house. Super cool because we got to catch up. Got to have great conversation with both of them. And Torrin's oldest daughter, Katie, I think it was one of her friend's mom or somebody came and actually picked her up while we were recording because they were going to go to Hood River. The Dowells? No, the Dowells. So this sweet, amazing lady, who I think was the mom of one of Katie's friends, picked Katie up like at 7:30 at night in Independence, Oregon, and drove her all the way to the Dowells with her friend, I think, to hang out for the weekend or something. Anyway, so they kind of barged in, and we caught all this on video. And then a little bit later, Deidre stopped by to drop off her and Torrin's kid, and you don't see her, but you can hear her on audio. So I was like, I hadn't seen Deeds in a while, so that was super cool. So a lot of just naturally spontaneous, cool things happened, and it was a great conversation. And after I stopped recording, Torrin's uncle, who lives with him, came down, and we had a great conversation, telling so many good stories. I found out so much more stuff. I'm not going to share because it was off mic, but I wish I could have recorded it, but when Torrin's uncle came down, and God, it was great. Yeah, love the family. And then I think we did our best to embarrass Torrin's second youngest daughter, Cameron, because she was there with a friend. And as we were recording, I heard some shuffling like on the stairs. It's a 2-story house, and at some point we were talking about something, maybe the kids, and I go, yeah, your daughter's up there listening to us right now. And then I think they ran away once we called them out. But no, it was great. And it hit me that I hadn't been to Monmouth or Independence since the last time I recorded with Torrin. And obviously I have a lot of history there. That's where I met my daughter's mom. We're both freshmen at Western Oregon University. It was Western Oregon State College when we went there, but it's Western Oregon University now. So obviously we both lived in Monmouth for a long time. And that's where my daughter was conceived, in a dormitory on the Western Oregon University campus on my 19th birthday. Oh my gosh. Best birthday gift ever. Love you, Chris. So that was super cool. And it kind of almost felt like it might have lit a little bit of a fire under Brendan and Torrin, especially now. Because back when they were doing it, it maybe wasn't quite as easy. The technology has advanced. Everything is so much easier. You can do everything with a fucking laptop and USB and still make it sound good and have good video. And it's so much easier as far as finding a hosting platform. And there's more outlets to share your podcast with and all that. So anyway, that was awesome. What else have I not talked about? Have been making a ton of music connections. Um, Random artist, and a happy little accident. M&R Cellars, which is up in Battleground. It's in the same area, real close, like a block or two away from Northwoods Public House up there. But it's a Spanish wine focused wine tasting room. Very small, intimate space, but it's awesome. And they support live music, like local live music. So I've gone and seen several acts there, and just by the fact that I'm there all the time, and also as I get older, I do appreciate this. The music starts usually at 6. In fact, I think it's almost always 6 p.m. So 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. because that's later. That's as late as I want to stay out nowadays. And they have a bunch of other. They have some other events even on Thursdays, which might start earlier, but it's great. They're open like 4 to 8 or 4 to 9 p.m. The owners are amazing people, but again, their focus was because Richard's wife, and gosh, I'm gonna butcher her name, so I'm not gonna say it, but she is such a sweetheart. She's from Spain, so they focus on Spanish wine that you can't necessarily find just anywhere, and it's all really good. But they also have a bunch of live music, and most of it is just solo acoustic artists. Sometimes you'll have a duet, but it's not a production. It's not a full band. I have seen at least one artist or one group where they'll do some looping, have like a drum track and a bass guitar track, and then they'll play guitar live over it and sing and stuff. But also a lot of it's just solo acoustic stuff, which is my favorite stuff ever. So shout outs to, let me go down the list here. Lucas Holmgren, who is from Battleground. I saw him there the first time like a year ago in the summer, and just great kid, very talented. So he was playing there on a random Thursday this October when I was on vacation, and went there to see him. And that was the night that Kristen happened to be free, and she drove all the way up there and met me, and it was a great experience. We just sat there in that small intimate space and listened to Lucas play, and it was friggin' awesome. And every time I go in there, I meet new people and make connections. And again, Richard, he's just awesome. I love that guy. No filter. Kind of like me, probably. But the employees are all amazing. So shout outs to Jody, Kimmy, don't call her Kim, Kimmy, and Curie, who, if if you put on 80s pop songs and she's back in the kitchen making food, Curie will start singing. She can't help it, and she has an amazing voice. So that's the best ever. And there is another employee there, oh gosh, that comes in and helps out, and I feel terrible because I don't think we've seen each other, but I don't know her name. But yeah, the entire staff and the owners are amazing. So it's called M&R Cellars, and they have the tasting room on the first floor. They live in their condo above it, but they also have a second condo right next to it that they rent out as an Airbnb. So it's a really good business model. So they actually get a lot of people that come from out of town because it's a great location actually. Because Battleground is a cool town, and it's close enough to a lot of outdoor destinations you might want to go to. Obviously Mount St. Helens, but even Battleground Lake, or just you're close to the hills. Or you can also just walk out from where their Airbnb is, and within 3 minutes you can be on the main drag of Battleground proper, which has a bunch of quaint little stores and there's restaurants and breweries, and there's boutiques and antique stores and stuff like that. It's just a really cool downtown little strip. Oh yeah, and okay, a shout out to Jody. I just remembered this. Had no idea who she was until I started going there a lot recently for the live music. But her and her husband, or maybe it's just her, but I think they're both part of it. But they own Music World, and they have a location I think in Hazeldale or Salmon Creek. But they also have their main one I think is in Battleground. When I did Thaddeus and Megan's wedding this past summer, I went there the Saturday morning of their wedding, set up my equipment, did a sound check, and as soon as I connected my wireless mic, because I was going to set up a wireless mic for the officiant and for them to give their speeches and vows. As soon as I turned the power on and turned the mic on, I heard a pop come through the speaker. Something happened, blew my mic out. So I'm panicking. I'm north of Battleground on private property. They had some friends that own a place, which amazing location. But anyway, I'm panicking. I'm like, thank God the wedding is not till late afternoon. I have time, but I have to get a fucking wireless mic. And I get in my truck and I'm driving back. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to go all the way back to Vancouver to Peacock Music. But before I got back into Battleground proper, I had a moment of inspiration, as seems to come along less and less as I get older. But every now and then, I have a good thought. It's like, I should just Google this and see if there's a music store in Battleground. And there was, Music World. Pulled in there, and I literally got there like at 9:55 a.m. on Saturday, and they opened at 10. Sat there on the street, waited for them to open, go in. I'm like, I need a wireless mic. Can you rent me one? And they did. It was awesome. Rented me one for $20. And everything went amazing. It was a great mic. Everything, the sound was awesome. And it was such a stress relief to not have to drive all the way back to Vancouver and then back up there to finish setting up and do a sound check and all that shit. So that is Jody's business. And again, not sure if I think her husband has his own career. But anyway, so when I met Jody and got to know her, I told her the story, and she was like, yeah, that I own that place. And Lucas Holmgren, the artist that I had seen, used to work for her at the store back in the day, because he was born and raised in Battleground. So just so many random connections. And eventually I was going in to see a bunch of live music enough that they were like, well, we have a wine club. You should probably just join it because it's real simple. It's not complicated. So to join it, you have to buy 3 bottles of wine, which are all reasonably priced. And then the only conditions are that just buy 1 bottle a month. So 12 months a year, buy 1 bottle a month. That's it. And you're in the wine club, and you get all the benefits, and you get the discounts, and you get the special parties and all that stuff. It's like, I've already been here like 5 times in the last month. This is just stupid that I haven't joined. And Jody, in her very tactful and sensitive way, explained to me that I'm being a dumbass by not joining the wine club. So, although this will make Kimmy laugh. So Jody gave me the hard sell and explained why I should, and I'm trying to be better about not making impulse decisions. So I said, okay, I understand it. Give me a few days to think about it. And then I went back the next weekend, and I forgot who I was seeing. It was Flying Caravan, which is a full band out of the Portland area, but for the small intimate gigs, it's just the girl and the guy. She sings and plays acoustic guitar, and then her partner does like electric stuff, and they're great together. But when I was there, Jody wasn't there. Kimmy was. So I told Kimmy about the sales pitch that Jody gave me. I was like, yeah, I guess I should just, fucking join. So I did. I bought the 3 bottles that night. So, sorry, Jody. I think Kimmy got the credit for that sale, even though you're the one that did the heavy lifting on it. So, you guys are awesome. But yes, highly recommend that place. It's just a great intimate space, and randomly every time I go there, I just meet good people. A lot of people that are locals, but because of the Airbnb, a lot of people that are from out of town. So I've seen Lucas Holmgren, Flying Caravan. The guy, I took videos. He did the piano thing. It was after I recorded the podcast with Sam, um, at Lewitt's New Orchards Tap Room. So we recorded a podcast there, and then she drove all the way from Gresham. So I was like, well, after we're done, you want to? I'll take you up. There's live music here, and I forgot the guy's name, but I posted a video of him on my Facebook page. But he does guitar, but he also sets up a keyboard, and he was playing like some Elton John stuff. Um, God, really, really good, awesome. Um, and then I went there actually last night. Great win, even though I'm a Beaver fan. Great win for the Oregon Ducks against Ohio State, because I went there last night after work to catch the end of a couple other musicians. Rhapsody. They're called Rhapsody. It's a duet. So female amazing lead singer, and then the her partner plays guitar, but he also loops a bunch of stuff and kind of brings in a full band sound. But yeah, I ended up catching the last probably 6 or 7 minutes of that game, because Richard, the owner, had it on the TV, the volume down, of course. So we saw how that ended. It was a great game, but also enjoyed some more live music and yada fucking yada. What else? And then the Friday before that, Sparrow. Oh, that was cool too, because Sparrow spent, I think, like 10 days in Nashville during the beginning of October. So she was out of town for a long time, and I think, I'm not going to speak for her, but she definitely is trying to build her music career. So I can't wait to hear more stories. We're going to do a podcast, so I'll do a deep dive on what that experience was like. But yeah, Sparrow got back in town, and she had a gig the Friday before the Oregon OSU game, Ohio State. Sorry, Craig. Yes, sorry, Craig. Your Buckeyes lost again to Oregon. He's never going to forgive me. So anyway, Sparrow was there, and she did her solo set, and it was great. And I got to go out in the middle of her set and grab her dog Maddie, and then take her for a walk to go pee, and bring her in the tasting room, and yeah, it's just a great night. And I myself, practicing a lot, obviously, getting a lot of inspiration from seeing all this live music. Oh, Kylie. Okay, hold on my shit. So let's talk about Kylie Jean. She was randomly in September sometime playing an acoustic set at 13 Coins on the waterfront in Vancouver, and that's just what I love. I just love going to see singer songwriter solo acoustic sets. So I went down there. Had actually never been in that bar. It's been open for a while. I'd never been in there. And it's a full restaurant, but then they have a lounge. So Kylie was playing there, and I went in, watched her set, and then just was able to talk to her, and we know people, in the music scene in Vancouver, so connected with her. And then I went to, might have been the night before or maybe the next week. Cellar 55 also, it's in more uptown, but Cellar 55 has music, and I went there one night to see Dan Dingman. So Dan Dingman, shout out to you. Great local musician, supports local music, and he actually gets to sing the national anthem at the Portland Timbers games. Not like all the time, but he's done it several times. So I went to see him at Cellar 55, and he randomly just mentioned that he's doing an open mic up in Yakult, or Yakult of all places, which is maybe 15, depending on how fast you drive, maybe 15 or 20 minutes north. If you're in Battleground, just keep going straight north on the main highway, and you'll run into Yakult. And there's a place there called Farger Lake House, a huge restaurant, and they have a lounge, but they also do lots of live music. So Dan Dingman has started to do an open mic there. So it's the first or second Wednesday of every month. Dan Dingman hosts an open mic there. And obviously, it's for anything. If you want to do spoken word, if you want to do comedy, or if you want to come in and play. And I found out about this because I saw him at Solar 55, and then randomly, that whatever Wednesday that was, somebody was on vacation at work, and I happened to get the opening shift on a Wednesday because normally I work until 7 on Wednesdays, but I got to be the opening soup, so I got off work at 5:30. So I grabbed my guitar and beelined all the way up there. Thank God I have a Prius, good gas mileage. Christopher, thank you again for getting me the Prius. One of the best purchases I've ever made. Every day I drive it, I'm even more appreciative of it. So thank you, Christopher. Love to Crystal and Oakley, and all the kids. Anyway, I get up there, and it was the perfect situation for me to do my first open mic. Because the only other time I played out was when, and it was last year when Sparrow actually was playing at Gossip in the Grain. She had a set there, and she plays for an hour and she takes a break and came over and was just talking to us, and I was sitting there with one of her other friends, and she caught me off guard, and she's like, well, do you want to do a couple? And I was like, it caught me off guard, so I said sure. So I went up and did 2 songs. That was the first time I'd ever actually played out, like in front of people. Amazing. And I'm sure I sucked, but anyway, once I heard about this open mic, I was like, I should just try this, and it was the perfect situation to walk into. Because there was maybe 8 people there, not including the employees. I mean, Dan Dingman was there, of course. He was hosting it, and if he doesn't have anybody show up for it, he'll just play his set for 2 hours, 5 to 7 p.m., and he'll just play music and whatever. And if somebody shows up that wants to do open mic, of course he'll let them in. And his wife was there, so I got to meet her, and there was a young couple. I say young, they were probably in their early 30s, but they're young to me, and they had their son there, who probably 7, 8, 6, something like that, and they were in a booth, and there was a couple other random people in a booth. But big rectangular room with tables in the center, and then like around the perimeter it's all booths. So I came in, and Dan recognized me from when I saw him at Cellar 55. And I just sat there and listened to him play for a couple songs. And, I'm looking at the clock, and it's like 6:30, 6:35. And at some point in between songs, I said, well, Dan, I'm here for the open mic. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry, you were right. Do you have your guitar? I was like, yeah. So accommodating. So I went out to my car and grabbed my guitar, and he plugged me in. And I did 3 songs. The first one was Drink a Beer by Luke Bryan, of course. And then since I was already capoed on the first fret, I went right into Jewel Hands is the name of the song. And halfway through that second song, the dad of that couple that were there with their kid, he got up, walked from the booth, came over and gave Dan $5, and I had left my guitar case on the table, and dropped $5 in my guitar case. And I was like, oh, that was incredibly kind. Finished that song, and then I closed it out with a Kenny Chesney song, because I was wearing, of course, a No Shoes Nation hoodie, or shirt, yeah. So I did Kenny Chesney's Floribama. So I did 3 songs, and wrapped it up, and then Dan finished the last, 10 or 15 minutes or whatever was left, doing his stuff. I went over, fist bumped the husband, and I said, wow, that was incredibly kind of you, thank you. And then I, of course, gave my $5 to Dan, put it in his tip jar, because he was the one that made that happen. That was one of the most incredible natural highs I've ever had. I think I lived on that for like 4 or 5 days. I was just riding on cloud 9, excuse the reference. And so again, going back to the point of it, was that was the perfect situation for me to do my first open mic. And now I have the bug, and I'm practicing all the time, and I'm still that annoying guy that will go to random outdoor locations, whether it's a tap room or a brewery, and I will just show up with my fucking guitar. And yes, Craig, Sean, yeah, I'm that guy. I still bring my guitar everywhere. I guess the only caveat is I am much better and I can actually carry a tune now. So, not going to stop being me. But maybe I have gained some self awareness about when not to bring the fucking guitar out. All right. Yes. I get it, you guys. Oh, shout out to October birthdays. Obviously, Pam, October 1st. She turned, I think, 30, finally. And it looks like she had an amazing time in Mexico. I'm so happy that Callista and Anne were able to go. And it looks like I saw a photo. Maybe Chad made his way down there because she was staying at Chad's place. So that's amazing. The other October birthdays are, of course, Uncle Craig, as my daughter calls him, but Craig. And then Thaddeus. So, yeah, I love this month. And love all my friends. And again, a lot of good things have been happening. So I thought I should just jump on here and give an. No, I just wanted to jump on here and give an update because I have been doing some recordings with guests and I have more guests lined up. But yeah, I just had a lot of joy that I wanted to share. And I hope everybody is doing well. And I love you all. And if I haven't had you on the podcast, you should definitely consider doing it. And Jason and Gwen, I would like to do a second episode with you guys, but no pressure. Shannon and Sean, still want to have you guys on there, but I would also like to interview Loretta, and I would also like to interview Rick and Debbie. Gosh, and even the kids. I know they won't do it, but the kids. Let's get all the kids. The gosh damn LaRoth children. Would you be on my podcast? All right. Just wanted to check in, and wow, 32 minutes. I've still got it. Yes! I can rant with the best of them. All right. Love you all, and take care of yourselves and each other, and I will be in touch soon.